Hey guys, Xoranath here, coming at you with another how to gear and specialized video. Today we're going to take a look at the water or blue Viking. I did just pull one pretty recently here, and my overall impression, I really like him. I'm having a lot of fun with him. It's just, you just kind of have to understand how to use him and like what teams he works well in, because he's kind of a different type of unit. But yeah, let's orient ourselves here with the the abilities. And one thing I will say is mine is mostly unskilled right now, and he's still usable. He will do more damage, obviously, and have some higher effect rate with skill ups. Definitely recommend skilling him up if you're going to use him, but he is usable without skills. His S1 here, it's just a standard, chance to defense down. It does have this other thing. If they have immunity or shield, you're going to get some action bar. It's also a defense scaling ability. S2, he's going to throw his axe, 2 attacks, going to steal buffs, and if they don't have buffs, it's going to put dots on them. Again, defense. And then he has these, we'll talk about the passive here. So he's another, as most of the Vikings are, they generate runes. And the way he gets runes is when you apply a debuff or you receive a debuff. And what that's going to do just passively is going to increase your accuracy. So if you get max stacks of, 5 times 20, you're going to add an extra 100% effect accuracy, which is really nice for him. And then he does have this, so it's kind of the companion to that, which is each rune's going to give you a 6% chance to inflict 2 turn freeze, which is pretty nice. So with your attack, so that's both with the S1 and the S2. And then this is the key thing that makes him fun to use, is when you're attacking a frozen unit, you're going to ignore 50% defense, and you're not going to break freeze, when you crit. Normally, when you crit into a freeze unit, you're going to break the freeze. He doesn't do that. They're going to keep the freeze on. So that's a really fun mechanic for him. And then there's this other part that if you get a debuff on you, you're going to consume runes to clear those debuffs and heal. And we'll talk a little bit about that. It's a little bit of a double-edged sword on that. But talking about the stats, so key stats to focus on him are accuracy, defense, crit rate, and crit damage. Those are the key stats that I want you guys to work on. I have mine a little over 100 accuracy here. Whenever he has 5 stacks of the runes, that's going to push him over 200 accuracy, which is nice for landing some things. This is kind of a flex spot, I think. If you want to try to run a little bit less accuracy and just take advantage of the extra 100% that you're going to get, you can. We are in high res meta, so just be careful with that. His attacks scale both on attack and defense, but better on defense. So you want to give him a good bit of defense. That's kind of like, focus on defense for him. It's okay to give him some attack. It's going to help increase some damage, but don't sacrifice defense for attack or, HP. And then, HP is going to make him survivable. I'd say if you can, try to push up toward minimum plus 5,000, but try to push up towards like 10,000. Defense, I think a good point to aim for is to plus 2,000. I'm not quite there with all this. He's a little stat hungry to kind of get everything. Crit rate, I'd aim for minimum 85. I think he works well on 100 crit rate. And then as much crit damage as you can spare. And he's actually a unit I don't recommend putting a lot of resistance on. Mainly because the comp, I will show you guys a comp I like to use with him. We're gonna have plenty of cleanse, and I think the stats better used in some other places, so I didn't really focus on resistance on him. So I'll show you guys what I'm running here. So for slot 2, I have defense. You could do, I would say, defense or speed here. If you want to make him faster than mine, go for it. This has been plenty of speed for the attacks I've been doing. I don't really run him into a lot of like super fast teams, but you can run speed or defense here. Defense is going to do more damage and make him a little tankier. For slot 6, I'd run accuracy or defense. So it's kind of a flex spot if you want to have, greater chance of inflicting the freeze, or you want to do just a little bit more damage. You could run defense here, perfectly fine. And crit damage here. So I recommend crit damage. You could try defense there if you want to make him even tankier. But I like crit damage on him here. I'll show you guys the other runes I have. Kind of going through here. Yeah, like I said, it's not bad to have a couple plus percentage attack runes on him. That will help him with some damage. It just doesn't scale as much. He is very versatile in terms of the gear sets that you guys can run. So I do have the ambush set on for the extra ignore defense. So if you remember, his passive is going to give him 50% ignore. This is an extra 25. So we're up to 75% ignore defense on his basic attack and his S2, which is really nice. And then I do have a corrupt set on him for, he's not a, like, burst nuker, really. He's kind of a bruisery unit. So I do think, you know, having corrupt on somebody on your team is beneficial. I like corrupt on him. Just kind of helps ensure he's going to get some kills. But like I said, he's very versatile in terms of the sets you can run. So I'll just talk about a couple that I think are worthwhile. So Bash is cool on him because if you apply the Bash stun, you're going to generate an extra rune. So you could help cycle through the runes faster and also apply some extra stuns that aren't, you know, resistance based. So Bash is a good set on him. Echo is good on him. That's another good 4 set. It just gives you that, you know, you'll have an extra chance to proc all of your things. So defense down, the dots, the stealing the buff, you know, all kinds of good stuff there. So Echo is good on him. The other thing I'll say is he can be run on like just a combination of 2 sets. Like if you wanted, I know I was running for a while. What was I running? Like Revenge. Revenge is okay on him because, you know, you have that chance to freeze. So, you know, Revenge is a good 2 set on him. We already talked about Corrupt. You could mix and match your favorite ones here. You could give him like a focus rune or something for extra accuracy. You could give him a fatal rune for extra crit rate. So you could mix and match some 2 sets, or you could run like you know, pretty much any of the 4 sets here. Yeah, as long as you're kind of in the ballpark with these kind of stats, it should work out. Let's go talk about the spec tree. So he does, I think both trees are usable for him. You can do nuker and just pure damage. That'll work out fine. I think he's a unit that can uniquely take advantage of the disabler tree, and I think it's more fun. So that is my recommendation for you guys, because it just kind of works with his gear set, and you'll see why here in a minute. But first, you know, I do have the extra accuracy here. Effect accuracy when we're applying freeze. Freeze is a big thing for him, so you know, getting that extra accuracy for freeze is good. And then his whole thing is attacking into frozen units, so Flaw works perfectly with that, right? It's very synergistic, right? So you're going to do extra damage when you're attacking a frozen unit. Great. Feedback is great, so it's going to increase our accuracy as they resist things. Trap, this is kind of a flex spot for, you know, I just needed 2 more points to get through it, so it's going to give us some effect activation rate when applying freeze. Which I'm not 100% sure how it interacts with the Frost Rune chance here. I'm assuming this is the effect activation rate, and so that would increase that chance. Not 100% sure on that, so if anyone does end up, you know, and could figuring that out and could tell me, you know, let us know down in the comments below. But under my assumption that that's effect accuracy, I think Trap is good to just increase that chance of freezing. And then Rhythm. So when you apply an inability effect, so freeze, you're going to go faster. Going to increase that speed, so always good. And then this is a really good one. I think Flow is great on him. So when you apply a debuff, you're going to increase your defense up to 50%, right? So as the battle goes on, and we've already said he's more of a bruiser, he's more of a long fight, we're going to bring in Corrupt, we're going to be slowly increasing accuracy, slowly increasing defense, and by the end of the match, he's going to be a very formidable foe. So yeah, those are my recommendations. Like I said, if you guys want to go down the nuker tree and just like get the defense and just focus on crit damage and stuff, that'll work out fine too. But like I said, he's just uniquely suited for the disabler tree, so I think it's a lot of fun. We'll go hop into a couple of matches, replays, and they're, you know, real territory war and airship attacks. They're not practices. They're, you know, real life opponents. So you guys can see I do have a very fun team for you guys that I'm just loving it. So we'll hop over to those. Okay, guys, so the team that I've been running with him, it's, for Territory War, it's a good 12-star offense. I think it works into a lot of different teams, even some 5-star teams, and it's really fun. So it's with the Dark Hog as the lead, we get the accuracy lead, and then also with the Blue Bookworm here. So we'll just hop into this, and I'll kind of show you why I like this combination of units. And then also, so types of teams that I like to bring this into, I've been using it a lot against these Dark Joker teams, and it's been working great. In these Archons, things like this, and you'll see a couple other teams I brought this into, but yeah, we'll hop into this here. So first thing, we have the Bookworm here, who can apply the 2-turn freeze, and it's also element agnostic because it's not an attack, so you're not going to glance into like the green unit with your Bookworm attack there. So that's, it's setting up our Viking to be able to do good damage into the Joker. The Hog, so it does a couple things here that work really well with the blue Viking kit. So with the S3, we apply both speed up, so we're going to go faster. Like I said, I don't even have a whole lot of speed on him, but we're going to kind of, get that extra bonus here. And then the effect up, so that's going to increase the chances of landing things, right? And it's also doing a cleanse, which we'll talk about here maybe in a minute. But the S2, because we got an extra turn off of the S3, we can do bandage on him and get defense up, and he's a defense scaling unit, so we've kind of stacked him up for doing some extra damage, cycling faster, and then also having good accuracy. So it's just a fun combo that just works really well with him. So we'll go here. Of course, the S1 on the Bookworm can freeze. Here's the hit there. So, those, remember, he's unskilled. Well, I think I have 1 point in the S2 for skills. But yeah, that did some good damage there when you're hitting into the frozen unit, and we have 75% ignore defense right now. So, it did, 12,000 a hit, 24,000 damage off of that hit. Not bad. Usually you will land the dots, and then the Joker can just die. I was a little unlucky there. Didn't quite get it. We also don't have the stacks of the Frost Rune yet, so as the match goes on, we're gonna double our accuracy, right? So the early game, you might not land things as much, but as the match goes on, you will land more things. We'll speed this up here. So strategy, it's kind of a hybrid control bruiser team, which is kind of fun. And of course the Bookworm can strip some things here, but really just trying to set up the Viking is what we're trying to do. And so I mentioned the Frost Runes being able to clear debuffs as a good thing and a bad thing. I like to view it as kind of an emergency cleanse. Like if he has a stun or something and it's his turn, it'll cleanse that off, which is good. However, it consumes your runes, and you want to keep him at maximum runes as long as you can. Just so he has the 5 stacks at all time, and then it has that increased chance to freeze and the increased accuracy and all that. So we actually don't want him cleansing himself if we can help it. That's why we have the Hog, which the S3 can clear the debuffs. So the more time that the Viking has his 5 stacks, the better off you guys are. So I don't advise trying to rely on the runes for the cleanse. I like to bring in another cleanser so we can keep the stacks. I think that's really critical for him to, land his stuff. And it makes his axe look cool, because it glows blue whenever he has 5 stacks. So, we want to get that blue glowing axe, right? I mean, everybody knows that a blue glowing axe is better than a regular axe. But we have Corrupt on him, so even if we can't burst down this Archon, I mean, we're going to slowly just work him down, and then just really controlling this this Iron Fist over here. And remember, the blue Bookworm, the S3, doesn't care that this is a green unit, so we're going to land this freeze a good bit. And if they resist it, and if you guys watch my How to Build the Blue Bookworm, we're going to be increasing our accuracy, so he's going to be stacking accuracy too, so it's going to land a good bit here. Get that freeze, and then here's going to be a good one. So that's the combo, right? So we have the defense up here, and this should be some good damage, unless he glances. I mean, that's the thing. So yeah, look at that, guys. I mean, that S1, you know, that was like 18,000 just off of the S1 there. Yeah, that's good damage. Okay, guys. So this is another match that I ran with that same team. This time there's even a very scary, you know, the Dark Monk in here. Which does his little silence thing. This is one where trying to get rid of that monk first. But it's another team. It's another one of these Archon teams. They don't have like a lot of damage, so we can kind of like out tank it a good bit. The silence on this guy is annoying, but it's not like game breaking for this offense. So yeah, we'll just watch how this one goes. See, good damage into there. We already killed it. And again, just making sure you can maintain the freeze is going to just make sure that your Viking has the conditions he needs to kill things, right? So that's another reason why I recommend you guys focus on the accuracy. You could get away with more defense, or, you know, focusing more damage on him if like your bookworm is like super good with accuracy. You can kind of, you know, work with your units that you have, but I like having the double chance to freeze, right? So if like bookworm misses and then he has the chance to go, chances are one of them's going to land a freeze, and you can keep things frozen. Like this is even into a light bear, which, as everybody knows, is, you know, usually built super high res. Not really mattering here. We're just able to kind of control it and work them down here. Yeah, Blue Viking is, it's not a fast damage dealer, like a fast match. It's kind of like a slower bruiser match, but it works really well. All right, and here was a territory war match, kind of a similar setup, this Archon Joker combo. This time they do have the Dark Iron Fist, so we got another, you know, another LD5. So there's the thing that I like. So if you're lucky enough to land your dots, you know, you can kill off these Jokers pretty quick with the S2. Because usually your S2 will be able to do enough damage to like knock the health bar down, because they're usually not built high HP, and then you can land the dots, which you know, will kind of bypass that crit passive thing that he has going on. See, and Joker's gone. Now, this Iron Fist was doing a little bit more damage than I was expecting there, so I did get caught a little bit off guard in this match. But we could still see we do have core units here. We have enough to heal. We can do our freezes and things. And this is another reason why, guys, like if you don't have the accuracy on the Viking and your freezer dies, what do you do then, right? So there we go. We landed the freeze because we have 5 stacks, so we're rocking over 200 accuracy at this point. Able to get that freeze onto the very scary Iron Fist here. Landed the dots again, and see, it just finished it off. And now, you know, this Archon just being beaten down there. So you guys go. That's how I recommend building, speccing Blue Viking, and then also a very fun comp that you can use with him. You know, let me know down in the comments how you guys are using him. Are you building him different? I think he's one where, you know, there's probably a couple different ways, especially because you can use a whole bunch of different runes. Like what rune sets do you guys like on him? You know, I outlined a couple there, but yeah, what rune sets you guys use, and have you found any fun comps with him? Yeah, one thing I will say is I don't know how usable he is on defense, right? I think he's a very good offense unit. I think he's countered maybe pretty easily on defense, especially because most of the freeze units are also water units. I think the only unit that can apply freeze that's not a water unit is Dark Puppet. So you're kind of limited in what units you can kind of pair with him if you're trying to have some other freeze units with him. And of course, you know, once you start stacking up like a bunch of water units, then, you know, people can counter with a bunch of tree units, right? So if you guys figured out a fun defense comp, let me know that too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.